So, what I want to leave all of you with today is a sneak preview. The conversation that I had with Phillip here today is basic, and there's a lot more that we could have and can dive into. I hope you got a lot out of it. I let Phillip do a lot of talking because I thought he had a lot to share, and I guided the conversation in a way that I hope was helpful for us to kick that off together, you and I. But I just want you to know this is the beginning of a larger social conversation that's likely to take place over a long period of time about the role of a business, its purpose, and the role that we all play as part of those businesses. Now, I simply ask you before that conversation really begins in earnest, and we all have to figure out what side of the issue that we are on. Whether you are leading a business today, aspire to lead one in the future, or simply work for a company today, I would ask you to take the question in a slightly different way, and that is, for you personally, to answer this question. What is the purpose of your work? The way that you earn a living in the world today? What is your purpose for working? And I have always argued that whether it's a business or an individual, the reason that businesses exist and the reason individuals work hard is to help others. At the end of the day, every business is simply trying to figure out who its customer is and what their problems are that business and its team of people can solve. And that most people who go to work every day are going to work to solve a problem for someone else. People who work in healthcare want to solve the problem of people who are sick. People who work in construction want to solve the problem of people who need homes and offices. People who go into law enforcement are solving the problem of safety. You can go on and on the list of every trade in the country. You can go on the list of every white-collar job in the country. You're always there to help someone. And if you look at it in that very optimistic point of view, then the purpose of your work and the purpose of your company and the purpose of a business is to help others. And the more people you help, the wealthier you get, and the wealthier that the businesses become, and the better society is. That's the hope. That is the most optimistic view. But that assumes that everybody in that system is truly thinking about their contributions in the context of who they're helping. It's important that thus those of us who are part of the economy, though, take the time to really consider whether we are lending our skills and talents in a way that truly helps others, and if we're doing that for a company that's committed to helping. Because I would argue that there are some companies that have stopped focusing on helping others and simply focused on how they can do the bare minimum to help whoever is in critical need that is willing to give them some money to keep them alive. But the rest of their work is all financial engineering, figuring out how to grow and how to have a profit, but without really doing anything to help anybody any better than they have in the past. In other words, they don't want to compete. They simply want to find the easy way. Lay people off, have an inferior product that's marketed in a better way, undercut competition through regulatory shenanigans, use legal maneuvers to keep their competition at bay so that they don't have to be forced to improve. These are all real things. And what's coming around the corner is automation that will make human employees less and less important and will allow businesses to earn more and more money while serving fewer and fewer in their community, specifically through employment. There may come a day where large companies are no longer net job creators. They become so efficient that they don't really need people at all. And then it follows to the small businesses. But those small businesses may not be able to compete against their larger competitors who become more efficient, earn more money, and are able to tie up governing and regulatory systems to their benefit at the detriment of the larger society. Everything I'm talking about here is at the heart of many political conversations and economic conversations. But I simply ask you, as the average ordinary listener, before this conversation comes to all of us in the world, before it does become something that people vote on, before it becomes something that regulators weigh in on, just know where you are on this issue. Just think about what your purpose for your work is and for the companies that you work for. Because that's the beginning of the larger dialogue, of the larger conversation about what is the purpose of a company, what is the purpose of a business, what is your purpose. And if you have that answer, and if you know that, and if you know who you're trying to help, then you'll be able to have a much more informed opinion as the international community grapples with what is likely to be one of the topics of the next decade: the purpose of business, the purpose of work, and if it's time for us to rethink all of the above.